Welcome to Ring the Damn Bell. I am your host, KG, and with me tonight I have my co-host, the wrestling enthusiast, the man behind everything, the brains of the operation, Mark. And on Tuesdays, we have a very special guest. This man has been in the ring with people like Sting, Ric Flair, Brian Pillman. He is the cooker, the wrestling legend, Bob Cook. What's going on, guys?
I gotta get my bifocals checked, man. That was Bob Cook or Cocker.
What? Hey, thanks for having me on again. I can't believe you asked me back after last week's Dick Bacco.
Well, we're very low budget here, so.
I know you couldn't even afford to do this week. You got me water.
But tonight we're going to be doing a recap of Monday Night Raw. Of course, it is the Monday Night Raw right after Royal Rumble. And I have to be honest with you guys. I was a little bored with this one. And now this could have been because of my own doing, because I had such high expectations of there being possible surprises on this on this Raw that I may have let myself down. But doesn't change the fact that I was still a little bored with it for some reason. Mark, what did you think about it?
God damn it.
Man, it's just wrestling.
Now I see him and I don't see you. I mean, see you, now I don't see him.
Yeah, technical difficulties, guys. You there, Mark?
Well, I'll tell you what I thought. I thought if you get bored, you go ahead and push back, and there's thousands of choices on Netflix to watch. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, that is true.
All right. So what do you think of it?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I kind of led you to believe that bigger things are going to happen on Raw because the last few years they've had people from NXT get promoted up into Raw or whatnot, and they've had better shows the day after Royal Rumble. So I kind of led you down that road too. I was kind of disappointed too. There were some high points, but for the most part, it was pretty anticlimactic.
Yeah, there's a couple of things that happened that we'll get to. Bob, overall, was Monday Night Raw what you expected it to be? Did it go beyond expectations, below your expectations, or you just had no expectations at all?
I never go in with expectations. I didn't mind the show at all. I thought the main event was very good. It was a good way to end the show. You know, you always start the show strong, you end the show strong, and everything in between is just whatever it is.
Right.
Because that's what people remembered the most, even though I don't remember the first part of the show. So,
yeah, the main event, and I'm not going to go too much into it because we'll get there. I agree. The main event was good. It was how the show went off the air that I'm kind of a little disappointed, and we'll talk about why I'm disappointed though. But let's get into the beginning of the show, Mark.
Sure. All right. So let's see. They, traditional, everybody coming in, whatever. They recap of Rumble, which they did multiple times during the show. Jey Uso to the ring. Huge crowd response. Huge. I haven't seen that since Kofi. Gunther comes out. Basically, I got nothing to gain, he says. If you choose me, expect a weekly hurting, pretty much.
Yeah. So let's talk about the crowd pop for a second. Since the Royal Rumble and with Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble, there's been a lot of clowns all over the internet crying about it, saying that this was a terrible decision. I tell you, if you go by the crowd's pop, I would dare to say that this was awesome. And what really, I don't know why people are. Go ahead, Bob.
I was going to say the people who are complaining, Jey Uso legitimately sells more merchandise in 1 week one night than they make in 5 years. Suck on that, people.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that there's actually a name for the internet fan base, which is the
ignorant. I call them the ignorant fan. Ignorant. Yeah. Never mind. I don't even know what I call them. Bunch of
you know what,
idiots.
Bob, it drives me nuts because this is the thing. If John Cena would have won it, they've been crying about that. Why do we have an old timer winning the Royal Rumble? If CM Punk would have won, they've been crying about that. These people, and I said this on the last podcast, they do not watch professional wrestling to enjoy it. They watch it to find shit to bitch about. Yeah, on the podcast, we criticize, but at the same time, we also praise a lot. And when we do criticize, it's never, oh, that wrestling sucks. It's more of, we just didn't enjoy this match for whatever reason. It has nothing to do with the wrestler. It has everything to do with, we didn't connect with it for whatever reason. The internet fan base, just, they're a bunch of little bitches.
Well, it's real simple. My mom used to say whenever I got in trouble, she wasn't disappointed in me. She was disappointed in my actions. All right. So with that being said, I'm not necessarily disappointed in the wrestlers. I'm disappointed in how it was scripted that night.
Right. Right. But yeah, Jey Uso got a huge pop. Matter of fact, when he got to the ring, after he got done doing his Yeet thing, the crowd was going nuts and they started screaming one more time and they started his music again. He did it one more time. That pretty much looks like Jey Uso is more than over right now.
You know what? I think how stupid and funny it is, but the whole Yeet gimmick pretty much made him.
Yeah, I would agree. I hated it at first, just because I'm not I guess my age. But I mean, it absolutely has made this guy, and people love it. Bob, do you see Jey Uso going to WrestleMania and them putting the title on him?
Probably, but I don't understand everything about wrestling. Obviously, I don't even understand how to live my own life, let alone wrestling. But
and you were a professional wrestler.
yeah, I know.
A legend.
But I don't get the Jey Uso appeal. I'm not a fan of the guy. Hey, he's there. He's over. That's great. Push him to the moon until he's not over anymore. Then put someone in his place who is. So I don't get it. I don't get the Yeet thing. I think it's stupid. But he stole it from somebody else, from what I understand. So probably got it over bigger than the other guy because I never even heard of the other guy.
Right. No, I agree. I've never been a huge Uso fan either, and it's not because he sucks or that he cannot wrestle. It's just I am not what is my perspective. He is not my type of wrestler, I guess I could say, but it doesn't matter. The man's over, and good for him.
I always say, like, when he speaks, it's almost like he's trying to come across as an ignorant person, which I don't ever understand, But, that's just me. Not saying he is ignorant. That's just his dialect comes across as,
Yeah, but,
it's just his character in his head talking. I don't know.
Right. He's been there for 14 years.
That's to get rid of him.
He's over. And I think that, Mark, would you agree with me when I say that when he got emotional last night, that was fucking sincere. I don't think that was part of his whole promo. I think that was just him being truly sincere about the fact that he's getting recognized for what he's put into the business.
I think anyone that makes that to that upper echelon or whatever, I think they are truly sincere. While it's scripted, these guys put their heart and soul into this. Bob, you can attest to this. You put your heart and soul into it, and when you get to that upper level, I think it is very sincere. And
some guys take it for granted. Some guys just, like Jericho. Someone asked him if he should be in the Hall of Fame, and rather than saying, yeah, it would be an honor, like you should, because I have a lot of friends in the Hall of Fame, and it meant a lot to them. Jericho just says, oh, that's not even a real thing. Yeah, well, so what? That you don't have something that you can go look at physically that the wrestling fans would bitch and moan about that they had to pay to go to anyways. So it doesn't make any money, sense to spend millions of dollars on a complex where people could go look at a plaque or this or that because they just bitch about it anyways, because that's what wrestling fans do. If they're not breathing, they're not bitching. And in some cases, I wish they weren't breathing. But In this case, Jericho just blew it off like it was nothing. But I've seen guys that are friends of mine cry because they found out they were getting in the Hall of Fame, cry at the Hall of Fame because it meant something to them, because you're being honored by your peers,
Right.
which
And
we
it's-
did this past Saturday at our Legends Lunch. We honored Wendy Richter and Leilani Kai, and they both got emotional, even though it was nothing like the Hall of Fame with 10,000 people in the audience, but all her peers were there.
Right. And that's exactly what I was about to go to, Bob, was it has to be very much like being recognized and getting an award at the Cauliflower Club. And speaking of the Cauliflower Club, I just did an interview. You guys should check it out with April Holm, the Royal Hawaiian, who is part of the Cauliflower Club. And we talked about it. Bob, why don't you tell people more about the Cauliflower Club, what it is intended for, and how they could be a part of it as well, because you don't have to be a wrestler to be a part of it.
No, you don't. We actually recruited some people at our Legends Lunch. A lot of people don't know about the club, or they're not aware enough of it to join it. What it is an organization that's been around this year for 59 years. It was started by an old wrestler, Mike McGursky, who was also a boxer and an actor. It originally was formed to help boxers, wrestlers, and stuntmen when it originally came in, or became something to help them financially when they fall on hard times. And it's been around 59 years. We only help people in the wrestling business now. And the 50th anniversary is coming up, 59th reunion, which we do every year in Las Vegas, where you can get together and we honor a lot of people. Last year, we honored Kurt Angle and the Dudley Boys and Sting. And yes, they show up and give a nice little speech and maybe even get teary-eyed. I don't know. I wasn't there last year. And this year, we're honoring a big name, which I can't divulge yet because it hasn't been made public. But anybody can join. CauliflowerAlleyClub.org. It's a nonprofit organization. And all the money raised for the memberships a year, which is $35 a year, $400 for a lifetime membership, and all the money goes to the benevolent fund. And the more you give, the more they can help me out, because I'm feeling a little ill right now, to be honest with you.
And this is the thing, guys, to everyone who's going to watch this, in order to join, you're not talking about thousands of dollars to join. It is cheap to join. We're talking about only $35 a year. And then there's different, packages of the memberships that's offered. But if you're someone that doesn't have a lot of money, but you still want to support this because you just love professional wrestling, it's cheap. It is so cheap. And this is something that I think it's so awesome, because a lot of those guys back in the day didn't make a lot of money. I mean, but
to plug, to just say I'm not blowing smoke, Jerry the King Lawler, Sergeant Slaughter, the Funks, the names go on and on and on that are lifetime members and have been members for decades. You can go to the website and look at all the lifetime members, and it's a who's who of the wrestling business. But
yeah,
the point is, fans can join. Without the fans, it wouldn't exist, because, the more the merrier. And last year they gave over $70,000 away to wrestling people that needed it. I won't
exactly.
divulge the names, but there are people who have allowed us to use their names. They've helped Paul Orndorff over the years, Kumala, Brickhouse Brown, the name, the list goes on and on. But those are ones that just allowed us to say it.
Yeah, I was going to talk about Kamala. That's what I was going with. You guys helped him out tremendously. You guys helped out April Holm, who I just mentioned, the Royal Hawaiian,
I'm just kidding.
Who is one of the original Glow Girls. And if you guys want to hear her story and how the Cauliflower Alley Club helped her, go check out my interview with her. It is on YouTube. I did it this past Monday, and she is an amazing woman. And excuse my crazy psychotic dog barking. Let's take care of that. But Mark, let's go ahead and go back into it. The interaction between Gunther and Jey Uso, it really told me that Jey is definitely going to pick Gunther, and I do agree that Gunther is going to drop the title to him at WrestleMania.
I hope not.
Gunther bores me to death. In fact, I got a coffin sitting right over there just in case I watch another one of his matches later today.
All right.
And I'm in an actual ring tonight, not outside it. I'm in the ring. Look at this.
Yeah,
Look at
I
this.
was gonna
I'm in the ring.
mention
Look at
that.
this. That's a ring. Look. I'm an idiot. Oh, sorry. Carried away.
That is awesome.
Next, we go to a recap of John Cena entering the Elimination Chamber after Royal Rumble at the media outlet. Next, we
I
go
thought
to
that was horrible.
Wait, hold on. Look, those were breadcrumbs of John Cena turning heel. Look, John Cena said in an interview that when he came back, he wanted to include all of his gimmicks that he has done over the years, including I can remember his very first gimmick, the guy, Mark
Cyborg.
not Cyborg. We faced Kurt Angle. His very first match, he was called the Prototype.
Yeah.
It's the Prototype.
That's right.
And then we went into the heel John Cena, the rapping John Cena. But he is going to bring each of those guys some way, somehow, according to him. But I think that this promo was very much a heel type promo because all these other guys have to qualify, but John Cena could say, I'm not qualifying, fuck that. I'm just getting into it. And I am going to beat that 16 title record. So do you guys agree? Do you guys see that heel
No,
coming out or no?
I don't.
now.
I think John Cena said that simply because Triple H said it too. That John Cena don't need to qualify, and he's going to make a movie, so he don't have to be on Raw.
Right.
Yeah.
He even said that.
And
Absolutely. He enter with 23 years in or whatever he's got, which is kind of misleading because, I think he's gone a whole year without wrestling for WWE at points and times. And I'd say he's got a good 16, 17 years, but not 23.
I think.
well, Cena
Sorry.
Cena has not won a match. I think it's been over 7 years or something crazy like that. And on top of it, look, John Cena, I get it. He's going to be considered one of the GOATs. He's going to be inducted Hall of Fame. But this is such bullshit for John Cena because, in my opinion, because the man said that starting at the Royal Rumble, this was his retirement run. He showed up the Royal Rumble. Did we see him at Raw last night? Nope. Or we can see him at SmackDown? Nope. Because he went back to do the movie. I get it, but don't call this your retirement, your last tour if you're not going to show up the way you said you're going to show up. I think it's very poor of him. Just be honest with the fans.
He was. He told me he's going to go film the movie for 1 month and be back.
I get that. But before he said that, way back when he showed up at WrestleMania last year or whatever, he showed up and said that he was going to be showing up and doing his final thing, starting with the Royal Rumble. He made it seem like he was going to be at every Raw or SmackDown.
No, that's how you perceived it.
Well, you're right. But
He didn't say, I'm going to be at every Raw, I'm going to be at every SmackDown, I'm going to be at every show. He said, I'm going to be at the Royal Rumble, and he was at the Royal Rumble. And if he's at the next, he only has 30 dates? I don't know.
Yeah, some of that. But, I'm not the only one that perceived it that way. There's a lot of fans who are, true wrestling fans who are disappointed that they felt like they were misled as well. But John Cena is John Cena, and he makes the money, and this is why he's in the position he's in. And that's why I'm making a little podcast. So
that's why I think if he's really going to retire, he'll make more money, or the company will make more money as a babyface John Cena than a heel John Cena. And that's what's more important than anything. Right. It doesn't matter that some fan goes, oh, he finally turned heel. I'm so happy. I've been waiting for it for 10 years. Who cares if the money's not there? It's all about money. Everything's about money. Everything's be about money. Send me some money, by the way. That's a wink, wink, hint, hint. Send me money.
Yeah, and one other thing about John Cena Royal Rumble, something else that is, the certain fans are crying about is John Cena didn't really get eliminated. Both his feet didn't touch the mat. One of the feet was behind something there. I swear to you, I literally commented, regardless of what you think, it's a fucking storyline.
But he fell on. He got on the floor. What are they talking
I
about?
you know, people are goofy, man. I'm telling you, some of these people are so fucking just out there.
Did he go
Uh,
over the top rope before though? I don't remember that part. Did he go over the
see,
top rope to get to the apron
no,
and then go to the floor?
that's what they're saying. He didn't go over the top rope. Is
Well, I
what
got to
they're
go back and
saying.
watch that now. I'll be right back. Let me.
So,
Oh, I'll do that later. But
but regardless if he did or he didn't, it's part of the fucking storyline, right? It's not going to change. Uso is who they wanted to win, and I love that because nobody fucking expected it. So that these fans just, you know, they look at professional wrestling as, you know, being, oh, well, this is real. And I'm like, no, yes, they legit get hurt. They're very physical, it's athletic, but they know what's happening in the ring. And at the end of the match, I don't know. These people are fucking just getting way the fuck out there. And I can go on
it's
about this, but
it's called lunatics.
absolutely, absolutely. All right, Mark.
Next, we go to Ludwig Kaiser in the ring versus Penta. Penta gets the win. You know what? It was a decent match. It wasn't extraordinary. It was decent. After the match, Pete Dunne took the ring, didn't make it to the ring. Kaiser attacks Penta behind or from behind. That's pretty much the smack of that.
Yeah. So
He's
Mark, let me
another
ask
boring guy. Boring look, boring act.
I agree. And Mark, let me ask
He
you
needs to eat a hamburger too, by the way.
a couple of them. Let me ask you this, Mark. Being that, you know, you watch AEW the way I do, and you watch other, you know, stuff, are you really starting to see that difference in Penta? You know, basically, he's definitely gotten I call it the WWE nice, where he's definitely not able to do a lot of the shit that he did that made us love Penta. Because man, last night I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, he's been restricted on what he can do. You know, and that's to increase the longevity of their careers. You know, and to make the company more money because they have longer careers.
True. That's 100. You're 100% correct. But and I agree. We don't want these guys getting hurt. But at the same time, are you starting to look at Penta differently as far as, you know, you went from being this massive Penta fan because of what we used to see with Penta to now seeing him with WWE? Has that made you kind of change a little bit as far as how you watch him?
You know, the only thing I've really noticed difference is his moveset's changed, but he's got a bigger promotional marketing team behind him than in AEW. You know, do I think he's the end all beat all? No, I wrote my notes that I think Dragon Lee is equal to Penta easily. You know,
Ooh.
easily in the ring, Penta or Dragon Lee is equal to Penta easily.
Maybe in WWE, but if you put both of them on the independent scene and let them go loose, I think Penta is much better.
I don't know, but you know, Dragon Lee's a hell of a performer.
Dragon Lee looked amazing last night, by the way, and we'll get to him. Bob, what about you? What did you think about this match, and what did you think about this version of Penta that we're seeing?
You know, to be honest with you, I didn't pay enough attention to him. Whatever the other version was he just doing stupid crap in AEW? You got to remember, when these guys get hurt, they get hurt. They also still get paid, and the company has to pay for that hurt. So,
Yeah,
you know,
it wasn't.
but when you let Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens do what they did in that ladder match, the company truly doesn't give a crap if you get hurt. That's proven night after night.
Yeah,
It's if you do get hurt, they'll take care of it.
but you know what, Bob? Well, first, as far as Penta goes, it's not just in AEW. That's just how Penta's been throughout his career. But going back to your point about that ladder match, and I said this for the Royal Rumble recap. Why in the fuck would you allow your champion that you're depending on going to WrestleMania? He's part of the huge storyline with the Royal Rumble, you know, facing that winner. If whoever picks him, why would you let him do a dangerous match like a ladder match right
All
before?
let them do it and hope they don't get hurt. Cross the fingers, hope to die, whatever that is. Hope they don't get hurt.
Would you consider the ladder match one of the most dangerous gimmick matches of them all?
Oh, definitely. I've never been in one, but they are dangerous. I think, you know, Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon set the bar pretty high when they had those two originally. And now
Yeah.
they just try to, it's like, who can do the dumbest crap?
That
When
could
you
be
think back, when you think back to when Shawn Michaels hurt his back in that casket match from a simple move that wasn't even supposed to happen, where he got thrown over and just clipped his back in the back of the casket. When you even see it, you go, "I don't look like nothing." Put him out of wrestling for 4 years,
Yeah.
and these guys are doing things where they're slamming themselves on the edge of ladders and stuff. It takes that much time to become a paraplegic, and even less time to sever a. If you just hit it wrong.
Yeah, and you're right. And it's funny that you brought up that match, Shawn Michaels, because the way Shawn Michaels back hit that coffin is the same way Cody Rhodes' back hit that ladder when Kevin Owens drove him down with the KO bomb.
Right. And even though they're not steel ladders, they still have steel rungs.
Right.
I mean, they are fiberglass ladders painted gray or silver, whatever the hell the color is.
Yeah.
But still.
Yep. Yep. Now going back to last night, Mark, are you interested in seeing a feud between the Penta and your boy that came out?
Pete Dunne,
Butch? Yeah, Butch or Pete Dunne. No, actually, we're gonna call him Butch because apparently he attacks you if you call him Butch. I would love for him to come to a podcast to attack us so we can, interview him. But yeah,
You ever see the movie The Road Warrior?
Mm-hmm.
The original Road Warrior?
Yeah.
The little kid that wore the furry stuff on his feet, the furrow boy. That's Pete Dunne when he was a kid. Oh, sorry.
Are you guys, Mark, are you interested in seeing this feud?
You know what? Pete Dunne, diamond. He really is. And I think anywhere else but the WWE, them two could tear down the house. And the WWE, they're going to have an average match.
Right, and that's my thing.
But you see, that's a good attitude because you're saying they're going to have an average match, and when they go out there and tear the house down, you're going to be like, "Holy crap! That was the greatest thing I've ever seen." But if you think they're going to have a great match and it's not what you think, they're going to go, "Holy crap! That wasn't what I thought it'd be." So you're ahead of the game.
Yeah, and go ahead, Mark. And well, I agree with Mark. But with WWE, I'm having a hard time visualizing WWE's version of Pete Dunne and Penta in a interesting storyline together. It may surprise me though.
I'm still not sure Penta's not Dominic Mysterio.
No.
Have we ever seen them together?
Well, just the size difference alone, I think shows that Domino could not be. But
well, they both look like they've never been to a gym. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't that be some shit?
Less time in a tattoo chair, more time in the gym.
Well, speaking of Dominic, believe it or not, that is the feud that I'm actually anxiously waiting to happen is Dominic versus Penta. For some reason, that just intrigues me so much.
Are you feeling sick?
No,
are you feeling a little dizzy? Are you dizzy? What's going on? Did somebody feed you some cyanide? And you just don't care. You're going to say ridiculous things before you die. What's the deal?
I'll tell you what the deal is. I think that Dominic has not been able to truly show us exactly the type of wrestling or what he knows of his skill set in the ring. I think that him against Penta, we'd be surprised at how much he truly has picked it up from his father.
Go for my head.
So go ahead, Bart.
All right. So next we got a recap of JD.
Yeah.
All right. And we don't need to get into that. Next we go to Judgment Day. Finn having the kittens on Dom, saying you screwed everything up, basically. And Liv coming to Dom's defense saying, no, he took care of everybody, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, they're basically about to break up. I mean, they need to break them up because I am just bored with Judgment Day.
Yeah, there's really no.
And not to mention, you mentioned JD, right? When JD gets back, how can they put him back with Judgment Day? Because this man's going to come back to a massive pop. That injury, whether they like it or not, that turned him babyface because of how badly he was injured and the fact that he still went on and finished that match. So, he's going to be a babyface when he comes back. So I don't see any other direction but to break up Judgment Day.
All right, next we go to Charlotte Flair to the ring. Basically kind of working the crowd a little bit, looking a little bit more plastic than a Barbie doll, though.
Well, look, the crowd just ate her shit up with booing her. And
Vince McMahon around.
well, this is the thing about Charlotte Flair.
Well, you mentioned shit and Vince McMahon. They don't have the same, meaning as they used to.
Yeah. But with Charlotte Flair, I think that man, I think she was sincerely a little hurt by the crowd's reaction just because of everything that woman has been through last year, because this didn't really break about her and Andrade being divorced until basically at the same time she showed up back with WWE. And she looks like she was visibly upset that the fans were booing her because she was trying everything to get them to start cheering for her. I mean, she was using what's called, a cheap pop by complimenting, in where they were at, the city, whatnot. Nothing. They weren't having it. And then Rhea came out, and holy crap, the welcome that she received was just amazing.
Yeah, and that got into whose dick is bigger, mine or yours?
Right. This is another one that I think would be a good match. I just don't want to see it again. I want to see something fresh. I want to see Charlotte against Tiffany. What about
More
you?
ways than one?
What do you think would be a better match? Rehashing Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair's feud, where Rhea Ripley beat her for the belt, and then that's when Charlotte left, or something fresh, Charlotte Flair against Tiffany?
I'd much rather see Charlotte against Tiffany and Tiffany win, which is what I think is going to happen. And I think Charlotte was told last night, probably go out there and feel the crowd. If they start to turn on you, then become the heel. Yeah. Because wrestling fans suck. The woman's been through a divorce. She's busted her ass to get back from an injury. What do fans do? Oh, she's just like her father. She's had so many divorces. Well, F you people. It's called life. People live it. Things go the wrong way once in a while. All these holier than thou. Oh, yeah. It just pisses me off when fans do that.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's
and
why
think she doesn't deserve it. She deserves it as anybody else. So what if Rick got her in the door? She earned her spot by busting her ass and have some of the best women's matches of all time. And anybody that can't see that doesn't understand wrestling, or they're just typical jealous haters.
Go ahead, Bart.
Hold on. Yes, Charlotte's worked her ass off, but if she didn't have the Flair last name, but still had the same ability, would she still be where she's at in that company?
If she earned it like she did, when she was in NXT, she was right there with the rest of them, helping them set the rings up and take them down. She didn't get no special treatment because daddies are a legend. She was there busting her butt with the rest of them, earning her spot, earning the respect. And she's probably, a lot of times people get a push in wrestling because of how they are behind the scenes. She's probably very respectful behind the scenes too. She's not stuck up like people thought. Oh, she's so caught up in herself. It's a character, for God's sake. Have you ever met her? I heard she's a nice lady.
Yeah, and not to mention, if it wouldn't have been for who her father is, then we'd have to point a lot of fingers to a lot of wrestlers, because we have a lot of second and even third generational talent out there who are legends, or Randy Orton.
My favorite wrestler of all time was Terry Funk, and his father was as famous as anybody in the wrestling business during his day, as his brother Dory. And they both got pushes in the Amarillo territory to begin with because of who their father was. But they took that push and earned everything they got because they were amazing people and amazing wrestlers, and Charlotte is the same.
Yeah, and
how many people in the wrestling business got a push because of who their father was? I mean, the list is endless. Yeah, it's what you do with that push that matters.
Charlotte Flair, the whole divorce thing, that's, unfortunately, so many people talk about that. And this is why I didn't, they usually do the news in the beginning of the podcast. But I didn't even bring it up as news because it's her own personal fucking life. Uh, and who Charlotte Flair is as a character has nothing to do with who Ashley is. I think that's what
Right.
Ashley is as far as her marriage. And even with Andrade, respect them. It did work out. It's none of our fucking business. We didn't see what happened in their marriage. Leave that away. That's separate than what.
Hulk Hogan's been divorced 3 times too, or 2 times too. Ooh, so what? You're still freaking Hulk Hogan.
Yep, I agree. So the fans, just like I said, fans these days, they're definitely not like the fan base that me and Mark and even you, Bob, came from back in those days. These guys are just, I don't know.
They're
But
the worst
regardless,
of the worst. They're
yeah,
subhumans.
yeah,
They're
but
lower than
regardless,
slime.
we all agree that we would prefer to see Charlotte Flair against Tiffy and having Tiffy actually retain. That would really, I think, set Tiffy up to have this major push, and she deserves it because she busted her ass as well.
Yep. And I think they could have a great match. They could have a battle of the moonsaults.
Yep. What's up, Mark?
I don't recall hearing in the dirt sheets about divorces back in the day.
Oh, they happened. Ricky Steamboat was divorced. Flair obviously was divorced. Arn Anderson was divorced. Everybody's divorced. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but they didn't make a big deal out of it, is what Mark saying.
Oh, okay.
Back then.
Or the internet, you didn't read it in Pro Wrestling Illustrated or anything.
Well, yeah, they kept that. Pro Wrestling Illustrated was a kayfabe magazine. They portrayed everything as real, so they're not gonna, have the guys, like Randy Savage and them. They weren't even. They were really married before they got married.
Right. But yeah, you didn't read that stuff in the dirt sheets back in the day.
I like those days.
Yeah, I look. Go ahead, Mark. I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
No, I said I do too.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I miss kayfabe. I really do. I miss professional wrestlers not being seen with the good guys and the bad guys and guys not being together. Because it was so protected that there were actually surprises back then. And that's what I love about professional wrestling. It surprises, regardless if it's a Royal Rumble surprise or a babyface turning into a heel surprise, right? I love surprises.
There was a time you would get fired if you were seen together in a bar or riding together in a car. And back when I was wrestling, we very, very rarely were in the same dressing room together. The referee would tell you the finish, and then when you got in the ring, when the bell rang, you had to figure out what to do. Call it in the ring. That was the best. Guys today might not even be able to do that. Like they got to practice the match for 2 hours before they go out or something.
Yeah,
but I get it. Everything changes. I'm not criticizing. It is what it is. They all still love the business. They all still have a passion. They all still bust their ass. So you got to give them credit for that. It's just different. It's not their fault. They didn't do it. The business just changed.
Yeah, Bob, I don't know if the name Sonny King rings a bell to you at all.
Yeah, I met him one time many years ago.
So Sonny King, when he retired, he ended up retiring and moved back to Louisiana, where he was from, and he was from the small town that I was from. And me and his son, Larry, were really good friends in school together. And I never forget, Sonny actually got a wrestling show to go. He set it up to come to Donaldsonville, and he had a lot of those guys. And kayfabe was real back then, who were baby faces and heels at his house. And I remember I got to meet a few of them because I was friends with his son. But I remember them all having to leave in separate cars. They couldn't be seen outside together. I mean, and it was a big deal. Sonny didn't even let them by the windows if they were to be.
Sonny was here in Florida in the 70s as part of the Sonny King Army. He was the manager. He had the lollipop. But Eddie Graham was the booker here in Florida back in those days, and he fired 2 guys because he found out, didn't see it. No one made it expose anything, but Eddie found out that 2 guys that were feuding had a barbecue at their house together, and he fired them.
Yeah, and speaking of Sonny, by the way, I just found out, I haven't talked to his son in many years. I just found out that Sonny actually passed away.
Yeah. And I think he had dementia and all that fun stuff too.
So sad to hear.
I wish I had dementia. I could forget some of the stuff I see on wrestling nowadays. Oh, I didn't say that.
You'd be able to forget that you're doing this podcast.
Like a lot of the AWA stuff I watched the other night. I wish I had dementia for that. I can always remember the good stuff, like the bad stuff, or the bad stuff. I can't remember the good stuff.
Yep. But let's get back to it, Mark.
All right. So interview with Sammy. Tough break in the Royal Rumble, facing CM Punk later in the night. Never faced CM Punk before. I find that hard to believe. Weren't they both in Ring of Honor at the same time, basically?
I
Or did
don't know.
Yeah, but he was wearing, wasn't he like El Generico or he wore a mask, right?
Yeah.
oh, it might have been Punk got out of there before Sammy got
I
out.
don't mean maybe, but didn't
Yeah.
Sammy
was
used to
under
wear a
that.
mask with like this thing hanging on the back?
Yep. And they could very well have faced one another back when Sammy was wearing that mask, but they don't consider that the same thing as Sami Zayn and Punk.
But let's just say you are truly a professional if you have legitimately never worked with each other and last night was the very first time and you can have a match that good. Damn, you're a professional. Which is the professional way. I mean, you could be able to work with anybody if you're really professional. Like they'd say, Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair could work with the Broom, whatever.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
All right. So Sammy sees Jay and goes and congratulates him for his Royal Rumble win. That gets over with. Karrion Kross comes up, and Sammy basically says, "You know what? I'm really tired of you and this shit. All right, if this continues on, we're gonna have a problem." Karrion Kross basically says, I don't want to be a problem, but I can be if you want me to.
Yeah, I hope this ends up leading to some type of a feud later on. I would love to see those two ring together, and I want nothing against Sammy. I like Sammy, but I want Karrion Kross to start getting wins really badly. I want to see him beat Sami Zayn, and I want to see Karrion Kross go on to actually get some wins, to actually be back in the title picture some way, somehow, because I think that he's just too good to be booked the way he's being booked.
So we could have Karrion Kross. Yeah. Oh, that's the other guy. Sorry.
Kind of got Jake the Snake feeling about him.
Yes. Yeah, his interviews. He doesn't really yell that much. He's very even toned, like Jake the Snake was.
Then we go to New Day versus LWO. Before the match, though, Liv attacks Io Sky. Rhea comes to help. Raquel attacks.
What are you talking about? You skipped over the New Day versus LWO, right?
Or that
You just mentioned it.
Go ahead.
Started. Raquel or Liv attacked Io Sky, and Rhea came to help, and then Raquel came out and attacked her. If you watch the show, it goes with LWO in the ring, and they do a commercial. They come back with Liv attacking Io Sky. All right, and that happens. And then they go to the New Day versus LWO.
Okay, cool. Sorry about that. I
got to write your notes down.
Well, I know I rewind during the commercials. The problem with Netflix is they don't show you the little screen whenever you are fast forwarding, so you know.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah,
you can do that with the movies and stuff, but not that.
Right. So I must have missed that part. So apologize. The whole thing with the,
wait a minute. Let me ask you a serious question.
Sure.
You're the host of a show called Ring the Damn Bell. You're reviewing shows that you're supposed to watch, and here you are fast forwarding them. Wait a minute. Let's reevaluate this situation.
I fast forwarded the commercials.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. I fast forwarded the commercials.
Sometimes the commercials are better than the show, though.
No, when I fast forward the commercials, it's I stop it as soon as
I know what you mean.
But yeah, so I
hate that.
I skip that. But anyway,
even on the replay, you can't see it.
Right. Now, let's go back about the New Day. What did you think about the new music? I'm glad they finally did something to fit. You may not like the music, but at least they've changed it. It's more that dark heel type of entrance thing for them now.
You know what? I didn't even catch the music, to be honest. What kind of pissed me off about this match, it was a decent match, but Ray did like a hurricanrana, spinning hurricanrana. So he went from being on the back of the shoulders or something, and Michael Cole goes, "Oh my God, Ray thinks of new things on the fly. He's so innovative." I'm like, no, that's not new. Shut up.
Here you go with your Michael.
Piss me off.
Here you go with your Michael Cole hit again. Bob Cook, what do you think about Michael Cole as a commentary? In commentary, I think that he's going to go down as being one of the greatest. Mark hates him. What are your thoughts?
I would say he's never going to be Gordon Solie, Jim Ross, or Lance Russell, but for this day and age, he's the best they got. For this
Thank
day
you.
and age.
That's what I'm saying.
He's better
I'm
than
comparing
Tony
them.
Schiavone, who I absolutely hate to listen to. His phony enthusiasm. Michael Cole, at least, whether the videos are real or not, I mean, they're real because they're videos, whether he's really as enthusiastic as they'll show that, like, was called what the desk cam, where he's like, oh my God, and he's all animated. You're like, if he's really that much into it, then he's got a passion for it. And if it's an act, he's the greatest actor of all time. So at least he doesn't come across as phony like Tony Schiavone. Oh my God, it's got to be Sting. Oh my God. Just don't tell Tony I said that.
Tony Schiavone was better 30 years. He was.
Still not better than Michael Cole, though.
Oh, God, you're killing
He used to
me.
walk around all the time with little saltines in his bottle of water every time he's trying to lose weight. Never worked, did it?
So then it has been proved on. Michael Cole is the best today.
Of this day. Jim
Yeah.
Ross, if Jim Ross was still in his game, he'd still be above Cole. Because Jim, to
I
me,
agree.
is at his best, Jim Ross was as good as anybody.
100%.
Great guy, too.
That's like saying Gen Z is the best generation going on today. It's not. Go away.
We can say
No.
Beyonce won the country album of the year. Can't take it away from her.
Yeah.
It was the top selling album last year, so haters can hate all they want.
Her husband paid a lot of money to bribe them people, too.
I don't believe that for a second. That's internet BS.
Yep, I agree.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure her husband went out and go, let's buy 500,000 copies of this record. Just so she can win a Grammy. Didn't she win a Grammy before? I'm sure she has over the years, or for something else. I don't know.
I don't follow her. But
The only thing I noticed about her at the Grammys, which I didn't see, but I watched the clip, I went, I think she's put on a few pounds. I'm superficial, as I think I've discussed.
And you know what? I meant to introduce you tonight as the superficial hooker.
Yeah.
But getting back to the show, New Day finally won a match, although it was due because of interference. But nonetheless, they finally won.
Yep.
And the excitement that I got from that match was just unbelievable. My heart's still beating because it was so exciting. Actually, I wish my heart stopped beating before it even started, but that's just me.
But what are your thoughts on the match, Mark?
You know what? It was a decent match. I kind of like it when Ray was, I'd like to say face to face, but it was more like face to chest with Logan Paul. And he just kind of pushed back in the chair. And then that's when Logan retaliated and cost him the match.
Are you looking forward to the match next
Thank
week?
God for Logan.
Are you looking forward to the match between Logan and Rey Mysterio next week?
You know what? I think it'll be interesting because Logan is very innovative and is a huge risk taker. And Ray is still a huge risk taker, I think, for his age. I think it'll be a decent match.
Logan had a great match with Ray a while back. He even saved his life almost, dropping him on his head. Most people would have just went, oh, whoops.
Yeah.
He did. I think Logan's going to go over, obviously. I think that he is, he's going to go to the Elimination Chamber match. I think Logan is going to be involved in WrestleMania some way, somehow. I just don't know how, because I don't think that he's going to be in a title match. But I do think that he's going to be involved some way, somehow.
He'll be in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
Nah, they're not gonna do that to him.
Yeah, he's too good for that. And speaking of the WrestleMania, there are talks that since they don't really have anything for Randy Orton at WrestleMania this year, that he's going to actually be the host of WrestleMania this year.
He's got to be hurt. It has to be more than just they don't have nothing for Randy Orton. He's not a
agree.
young man. It's not like you just sit around and go, Randy's not getting any younger. What can we do with him? Oh, I don't know. We can't do nothing with him. Of course you can.
And
He's got to be hurt.
He's too good.
Maybe he's going through one of those pesky divorces. You never know.
No, his wife just tweeted out something about him not being at the Rumble, which I was kind of surprised that he wasn't at the Rumble, to be honest.
That's what I said. I think he has to be.
Maybe he was at Nick Hogan's wedding.
Maybe.
Oh, let's.
All right. So next, a recap of Roman, Seth, and Punk's elimination at the Rumble. And Seth going off the deep end. Roman is out for the foreseeable future with no report of what injuries he got because he won't release it.
Yeah. So the whole thing first, I was really surprised that when Seth Rollins came out last night, he didn't come out to booze. I was expecting the fans to boo the shit out of him, and it didn't happen because of exactly what they showed on the recap of what happened at Royal Rumble between him, Roman, and Punk.
Yep. All right. So, Punk interview talking about the Elimination Chamber. Then we go to a recap of Speed and Rumble. Who is Speed? I have no idea. See some sort of internet sensation or some shit?
Yes.
Got over 35 million subscribers on YouTube alone. I never heard of the guy either, but he takes a heck of a spear. He had no choice, but he took it.
Yeah.
More of a man than me. I'd be down there crying. I'd be going,
Right,
you know.
he was somewhat hurt because when Brian Breaker threw him to Otis and Otis threw him over the table, they showed him backstage. There's a
Yeah, he hurt his shin or something.
yeah, Chuck of Beat just hanging over. But he is playing it off really well though. He is doing interviews with the neck brace saying that this
Oh, really?
hurt.
That's good. But then they say that got over 300 million views in the last 24 hours.
Yeah.
Across all, so however they figure that. I
That
don't know.
spear.
It looked brutal. Remind me of Rick Steiner doing that back in the day.
The fact that Ice-T wasn't carried out the ring shows you how good Brian Breaker is with protecting people when he does that spear, because that spear looked like his soul left his body.
Well, I think it did.
Yeah.
You can't protect somebody from that. You just say, hey, we're going to do this, and you're going to agree to it. And if you agree to it, then it's going to get done. And it got done.
Yeah.
There's no way to fake that. You just 250-pound guys going full speed plowing into you. He even drove his head into the mat, like a shoulder into his face even.
Yeah.
He didn't protect nothing. If the kid lived, it's because he got lucky. I mean, I don't usually, I was watching the show, and when that happened, I was just like, holy crap. I had nightmares when Rick Steiner used to shoot in the rope and say, guess what? And he'd throw you a clothesline or he'd power slam. You have no idea what he's going to do. He just shoots you in and go, guess what? You're like, nightmares.
Yeah. All right. So next we go to a video of Lyra versus Bayley next week. You know, I like Lyra. Just can't connect. Bayley, I'm so far over Bayley, it's not even funny.
Bayley needs to be taken off of TV for a long time, and they need to do something fresh with her, because, I mean, the fans are starting not to even, react to her anymore.
Her voice is like fingers across the chalkboard. I just can't handle her voice.
Yeah, but she's got that sexy nose ring, which I'm just kidding about because I hate that kind of stuff.
Right.
Bob, do you think that there is a possibility of being able to take her off TV for a few months and then rebrand her some way, somehow?
Of course there's a possibility, but it's all behind the scenes stuff that nobody knows what. Back when they had wrestling on television, regular television, they were able to tell who got the best like ratings per segment. Like they could say this segment got more ratings than that segment, and they go by that a lot. Like if Bayley got good ratings, and they go, oh, she's over. Who knows how they figure it now with it on Netflix? I don't know if they can judge every segment, 15-minute segment, whatever it is. And maybe she's just a really nice girl. I don't know. Again, the mysteries of wrestling never cease to amaze.
Yeah.
Why someone like the New Day? They've been there forever. They're not over. No one cares. They haven't been over in years. They were over at a time, but their time is up. And I'm not wishing ill will on anybody. I'm not wishing anybody get fired because, who doesn't, they have families and all that. But realistically, fire them all. That's what I say.
Well, Mark, going back to New Day, they seem like they got over when they turned on Big E as being heels. Do you think WWE just waited too long to do something to follow up with that? They wasted their opportunity.
Yeah, they went all AEW on them guys.
Yeah. Big angle with no finish.
Yep.
No plan for it. From the angle to the plan, what's next week, what's next, it's going to be interesting, compelling. It's not there.
Yeah, they casted that line with no hook on it.
Yeah. I agree.
I say you get a big box of Bootios, you put them in it, and you wheel them to the edge of the Grand Canyon. And oh wait, that's a little bit extreme.
Go ahead, Mark.
Next, we go to Io Sky versus Liv. Liv gives a nice shotgun drop kick. Couple missteps in the match. Big roll through stomp by Io Sky. Liv held her own. Io Sky is one of the best. But Liv actually looked really good in this match, and I don't know if Io Sky was just carrying her that well, or Liv's.
Is that a play on words?
Huh?
Is that a play on words? Liv looked really good. She always looks really good.
No, it wasn't a play on words.
Super Fisher Bob strikes again. Ba-dum-bum.
I was pretty impressed with Liv as a whole, as her performance last night. I was impressed. And her going over the top rope and sliding down and trying to get her into a power bomb. That was pretty that's a risky goddamn move to go over somebody's head and down their back and flip over and try to power bomb. That takes a lot of guts.
I'm sure they practiced it beforehand, hopefully.
Well, you'd have to. There's no way in hell somebody can do that one run and be done. Yeah.
Yep. And then, of course, the ending. Liv won her disqualification because of Rhea Ripley. But there seemed to be Io Sky wasn't happy with Rhea Ripley coming in to even help her. She was pissed because they cost her that. This was an elimination match for the chamber. And so Io Sky, she lost her opportunity to get into the elimination chamber, and she was pissed at Rhea.
Yeah, she looked pretty pissed, actually.
Yeah. But I think that's going to be left there. I don't see them turning that to a storyline.
No. All right, next we go to a War Raiders interview. You know what? The first 30 seconds of that just went over my head because it was like, so what? Chad Gable comes in with his entourage. Challenge is thrown out. Now Chad's on a quest to develop into how to beat luchadors.
He actually made me laugh whenever he said, "Now excuse me for a while. I have to go to the dark side to learn more about the luchas." That kind of made me laugh a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it was what it was.
All right, so real quick, I'm going to go off script here. This Evolve, which is a promise ring on wrestling, or it is the promise ring of wrestling, I guess. You guys know what Evolve is?
Yeah,
I used to know the guy who owned it when it was here in Florida, but
okay. I don't know. I just found it funny that they're going to have a training camp for the big leagues.
Yeah. Well, they already have a program, whatever.
Well, you know what that is, right?
But what's that?
That is Tubi went, "Hey, WWE, we got some cash. Would you like it? Come up with an idea. Here it is. Take it. Here's the idea. Thank you." That's what it is.
Yeah. All right. So next we go to Seth in the ring, commenting about CM Punk, giving Jey Uso his props. Talking about how he injured Roman, called Sammy out, basically tells Sammy to take Punk out tonight. In the midst of that, or before that, I should say, it is announced that by Adam Pearce that AJ is coming to Raw.
Yeah. So let's go back to AJ coming to Raw. Brian Breaker was there saying, "Keep him away from me," and then he's like, "And what's next for me? Let's go talk." Now,
Yeah,
of course,
I did forget to write that down. Sorry.
And then as far as Seth coming out, Seth was absolutely dressed like he was playing a heel. His talk to Sami Zayn was very much heel-like, in my opinion, because the way I perceived it was, you need to beat CM Punk to make sure he doesn't go to the elimination chamber, because I don't want to have to worry about him beating me and going on to WrestleMania. I don't want to deal with him. I feel like Seth Rollins is someone else that's about to turn fully heel.
I don't think Seth's ever really fully turned face, to be honest.
That's true. Fans just started cheering them. What about you, Bob? Do you think that this was somewhat of a heel promo?
Yeah, definitely. Was a good one though, I thought.
No, it was.
But he's another one that's got that voice that just like,
It's his laugh. I want to whip his ass just because the way he laughs.
Yeah, you do.
But when he's a heel, that's a good thing. Seth Rollins makes a really good heel. I mean, he makes a great baby face as well. People love him. But man, when he's heel, he knows how to get the heat.
Yes, he does. Anyways, the only problem I had with this match was there's too many kickouts of finish moves, I guess.
Yeah, CM Punk and Sami Zayn, it was a decent match. We all knew CM Punk was gonna come up on top. The ending is what I had an issue with. I had an issue with it being KO that attacked Sammy only because we have seen this match with KO Sami Zayn so many times. And yeah, they're good matches. I will not say they're not good matches. These guys have been feuding or being partners their entire career, so they know each other well. I just don't want to see another feud between these guys. I just really don't.
Right.
Bob, what is your thoughts on that?
I don't want to see either one of them again, actually. But no, it'll be a good match. That's one thing, you know. It's like people will say Randy Orton and John Cena, blah blah, but they never had a bad match.
Right. Mark, is this a feud you want to see again?
Absolutely not. I'm not a huge fan of Sammy's KOs. You know, they're good entertainers, but I don't think they've ever really left the mentality of being bingo hall parlor wrestlers.
Yeah. Yeah, the fans love them though. They love that underdog. And at least, I'll give Sami Zayn this much. More times than not, when he's fighting, I'm expecting him to lose. So when he wins, it is a surprise, and it's usually some type of a good feel-good surprise when he wins. So we'll see where this storyline between him and KO goes. Now I tell you though, KO looked rough last night. He looked like he went through a war during his Royal Rumble match. I mean, his eye. Did you guys notice his eye? It was black and green.
Oops.
I didn't catch it, to be honest.
Oh yeah, he looked rough. He looked like he got his ass handed to him. He legit looked rough. He had a pretty gnarly black eyes and it's pretty swollen.
Hell, I had that 15 minutes before the show. All I had to do is go around and say, "Hey, punch me."
You know, years ago they did that. They did an eagle with the Steiner brothers, where Kevin Sullivan beat him up. Remember the whole woman thing?
Yep.
And they're like, "Well, we need Scott's eye to look puffed up." His brother walked up, and went, punched him in the eye, and blah. I was there.
I can see it too. I can see Scott doing it.
Yep. But yeah, that was the recap of Monday Night Raw. Friday night, we're going to find out what's going on with Cody Rhodes' injury. There's a lot of speculation out there right now that he's going to wind up having to relinquish the title because he won't be able to make it to WrestleMania. I don't know. Again, it's speculation. Everybody has an opinion on it. All I say is that he supposedly was legitimately hurt, and they've not come out with how badly he was hurt. So I'm not going to speculate about anything. I'm just going to see what happens at SmackDown. What opinion?
Satisfy two things right there. John Cena getting this breaking Ric Flair's record, and CM Punk main eventing WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And Cody doesn't lose face.
Yeah. But the question is, let's say Cody Rhodes does relinquish his title. Bob, how are they going to decide? Because if Cody would relinquish his title, then the Elimination Chamber match would be the winner of that match gets that title. The question would be, how would they figure out who is going to face the new title holder, the new champion at WrestleMania?
Yeah, who really knows? I honestly don't think he's hurt. I think because of the nature of the match and the stuff they did, it's just storyline. He got hurt. You watch that match, you go, oh, I believe that.
Yeah.
Could have been
I
any one of those stupid bumps, you know?
Yeah, I go both ways with it.
What? Oh, okay.
But the biggest reason why I kind of wonder if he's truly hurt is because he didn't show up for the press conference after.
Oh, that just plays into it.
But it does. It absolutely does.
I mean, if they say, hey, we're going to do this deal where you're hurt because that was a brutal match, don't go to the press conference. Simple.
Right. And we know, look, if Cody Rhodes comes back and he's selling that he was hurt really bad, but he doesn't really get that title, then we absolutely know that it's a storyline. But hey, you know what? Whatever makes it good, I'm down for. But yeah, that was the recap of Monday Night Raw. Bob, do you have anything that you want to promote, put out there?
I'm going to go eat chocolate covered raisins and watch something else. I don't know what I'm going to watch. There's no wrestling on tonight.
NXT.
Yeah.
We don't get the WB network on the Sling TV, but we watch. I got the Sling, what do you call it? The WB app, which will be on later, and I won't watch it then either. What I want to know is what happened to Sol Ruka. She was getting a big push. She's doing all these fancy things. She's hot as hell, by the way. Superficial Bob. What happened to her? You getting an attitude adjustment? Because I could show her a thing or two about attitudes. I got a ring right here if she wants to practice adjusting things.
Oh, here we are again. You know what? I am so happy that YouTube allowed us to be back on. Really am. Because,
but honestly, I don't understand what happened to her. She just disappeared.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard anything about her.
I follow her on Instagram, by the way. Just don't tell her because she might think I'm stalking.
You got anything for us, Mark?
She'd be right, but I don't want her to think that. Oops, I got carried away.
No, just ring the damn bell.
Ring the damn bell, everybody. We will see you guys. Tonight's Tuesday. We will see you Thursday for the recap of Dynamite. Hopefully, Dynamite's better than it was. And cross fingers. Maybe if we're lucky, Bob will join us on Thursday night. We'll see. He's a busy man. What?
Their go-home show before their pay-per-view?
No, their pay-per-view is in March. They have that Australian show that's just going to be basically a big, they do Collision on Saturdays. And so basically it's just going to be a really big Collision because it's going to be, I think it's this coming Saturday, their big Australian show, but it's a freebie. It's kind of like a main event.
Well, who wants to pay $50 or $60 for that crap?
Yeah, that's why it's going to be free because they couldn't even, again, as I reported, they're having to go 2 for 1 for their tickets. So who knows? The card, though, seems like it's going to be a pretty good card.
He fell down.
Yeah.
Boom.
Call 911.
Yeah, I mean, the show, AEW's Australia show, I'm going to watch it, but if something came up that I couldn't watch it, it'd be like, No, but it is their, I guess, technically go-home show for the big show in Australia. So we'll be back Thursday to do that recap, to see if they're figuring out what the hell they're doing. Maybe Wednesday will be the night that Tony Khan figures shit out.
Yeah. After 4 years? No.
Harley Cameron got to win.
Hey, I like Megan Bain. I don't like what they did to. I don't like how they debuted her in that gauntlet match or whatever the hell it was, where she didn't get the win. But I like her. She's got all the potential in the world. I'm begging you, let her out of her contract and go to WWE.
Well, if she has to be with AEW, I want her to be the one that
beat everybody.
That pins Monet for the first time.
And the other woman, whoever that is, that's a champion. I don't know. They got so many championships. I can't keep track.
Yeah.
It's funny because I mentioned Megan Bain. I hadn't been on TV since that Battle Royal or whatever it was. And Queen Amata had been on. And not even a week later, both of them were on or mentioned.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think
I've liked her for a long time. Yeah. Superficial reasons, but I like her.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Mark. So
Megan Bain.
Tony Khan, if you're watching our show, me and Mark would love to come and help you out because one thing's for sure, We may not have experience, but we sure as hell can't do any worse than you're doing.
Oh, dude. And we work cheap compared to some of these guys.
That's right.
I would
And Bob,
say, Tony Khan, if you're watching this show, you should be shaming yourself because your show's tomorrow night. You should be working on the show. Don't be watching this. Work on your show. It's less than 24 hours away. For God's sake, put Megan Bain in the main event against me. I mean, against somebody who matters.
absolutely. And on that note, guys, please subscribe to our podcast. We will see you for the recap of Wednesday Night Dynamite on Thursday. Until then, ring the damn bell.
Wait, can I say,
Absolutely. Go ahead.
in honor of the greatest acceptance speech in the history of awards, when Jim Carrey came out with a big beard and good peace and love. That's what I got to say. Go look up the speech. It's the greatest acceptance speech in the history of acceptance speeches.
Peace and love and ring the damn bell. Bye-bye, everyone.